Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
You know, his authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
All right, everyone. Today's court hearing is completely insane. We've got a man identified as Matthew Aldridge, at least according to the court documents. But the individual standing at the podium is refusing to acknowledge that name. Instead, he's pulling the classic, I don't have a name, routine, and claiming to be an attorney of fact, which, just to be clear, is not a legitimate legal role whatsoever. This is a common tactic used by sovereign citizens, who constantly try to argue that the court has no authority over them. But here's the reality. Courts absolutely have jurisdiction over anyone physically present within their jurisdiction, no exceptions. The judge is not fooled for even a moment and shuts this down in the most brutal and satisfying way toward the end. He completely outmaneuvers this guy. So let's jump right into it.
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm the attorney of fact for the respondent mayor.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
No, I do not at this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't the court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me.
Have a copy of it.
Oh, apparently there's a copy here.
I mean, it's bad enough that this guy is pretending to be an attorney of fact, but to justify it, he actually hands the judge a piece of paper. You didn't get to see it on screen because that portion dragged on a bit, but that document cited a completely fabricated law that supposedly grants him the authority to represent Matthew Aldridge. For anyone wondering, real lawyers must be licensed by the state and are required to follow established legal procedures. None of this homemade, one-page fantasy law nonsense. Sovereign citizens like this individual love to obsess over jurisdiction, acting as if declaring themselves above the law magically makes it true. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Courts rely on long-standing, recognized laws, not imaginary statutes pulled out of thin air. The judge in this case has zero interest in entertaining this nonsense. Honestly, I have to ask, are sovereign citizens becoming more common lately? Or am I just unlucky enough to keep encountering these absolutely bizarre cases? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are, in fact, Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an Article 3 trial?
To what?
Will that be an Article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this. And I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right, to Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered.
This judge is handling this absolute lunatic like a seasoned professional. He remains calm while methodically shutting down every single argument. The guy barely even gets a chance to push his attorney of fact nonsense before the judge tears it apart piece by piece. It almost feels like the judge either took this personally or has dealt with this exact kind of behavior countless times before, especially once the guy started quoting made-up laws. One moment that really stood out to me was when the judge said the guy couldn't even say his own name. That was honestly hilarious. Judges usually keep a straight face and show very little emotion, so seeing that was pretty entertaining. From the very beginning, it was obvious that this judge had no intention of wasting time on this clown show. Ultimately, it just highlights how absurd and pointless these tactics truly are.
Then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are, in fact, Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go on about your business.
Sovereign citizens really are something else. These are people who genuinely believe they can simply opt out of the legal system by claiming they don't recognize the government's authority. They'll ramble on about things like common law or the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, while completely misunderstanding what those laws actually mean. To be absolutely clear, courts operate under federal, state, and local laws that have existed for centuries and are firmly grounded in the Constitution. There is no hidden loophole that allows someone to just decide the rules no longer apply to them. Yet these individuals continue to clog up courtrooms with bizarre arguments, wasting everyone's time and accomplishing absolutely nothing, except earning themselves a criminal record. From a legal standpoint, the sovereign citizen defense collapses immediately because of one simple concept: jurisdiction. Courts have authority over anyone within their geographic boundaries, regardless of whatever legal fantasy they try to invoke. These arguments might sound clever inside echo chambers, but judges have heard it all and shut it down instantly. And for anyone curious, attempting to dodge taxes, or get out of a speeding ticket using these tactics doesn't just fail, it can actually result in harsher penalties for wasting the court's time. Personally, I don't understand why people keep trying this. Do they genuinely believe they're outsmarting the system, or is it just some strange form of rebellion? Either way, it's ridiculous, and honestly, it's kind of sad. They're not challenging the system. They're just embarrassing themselves. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up today's breakdown. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think about sovereign citizens in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.